This is called goat stew. We got a freshly slaughtered goat meat the other day from Clearview Valley. This is the meat. We chopped it up into little bite-sized pieces, and the bones from a leg I smashed in half on an old board, on an old cutting board, and this knife right here, so that it opens up the marrow. And my idea is that we're gonna get a big pot up there, and I'm gonna do it like oxtail, sort of, where you put first I'm gonna have a lot of butter. This is unsalted raw butter. We're gonna put it in the bottom of the big pot, and then put the bones and the meat in, and put it on medium and sear them and get them going for a while, maybe half an hour, turning every 15 minutes or so. Anyway, Mary is putting together some spices. What did you do generally?
I made a curry.
Uh-huh.
From
Not
scratch.
too spicy.
Yeah, not too spicy.
Because I can't do spices, and no peppers, because they upset me a lot. And then we got onion, white onion, yellow.
This is from Clearview.
Ah. And then some over here, tomato.
Yeah, I would have used fresh, but we were out, so I'm using a can today.
All right. So do you have any other ideas about what I just said? Does that sound good for starters?
It's great. First, we're gonna brown the meat in the pan in the butter before we put it in the stew.
Yeah, we're gonna do that in the big pot. And then cook it really long and low. Oh, and add potatoes.
Okay.
Then we're gonna put water over the meats, and then add potatoes, and then cook it low and long.
If you keep your windows open, the neighbors might start lining up. This is gonna smell amazing.
It's gonna be like 3-4 hours.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Here's the pot going on medium. See that flame? It's pretty high. Medium. And the butter starting to melt and bubble. And then I'm gonna put the meat in before the butter starts to burn too much, so the meat cools it down. And then we sear the meat to lock in the juices and the bones, and then also to give it some flavor. So we put in the garlic and the onion first. It's starting to go here. We're gonna brown that a little bit. We're watching a Nigerian woman
the aroma of this stew
teach us how to make goat. Mary said a lot of goat is eaten in Africa, so they know what they're doing. Onions, about half done.
Curry, it looks like she uses this like a...
Look at the onions just before I'm putting in the goat and the bones. See the brown, smell has a lot to do with it. It smells caramelized. The onions have become a little translucent, broken down. All right, this is good. Now I added the goat meat and bones. And we're gonna let it go like this, continuing on medium. And every 10 or 15 minutes, I'm gonna stir it so that it sears on the bottom and turn it. This is a little bit through the browning process earlier on. Been stirring it every 10 minutes, maybe 15. And we have our curry, tomato, and 5 russets, like about that big, maybe. Cut into big chunks, because that makes good stew. Soft potatoes cooked in meat bone broth. Yum. Now you can see the meat is falling off the bones, and a lot of the butter and onion juice has dried up, and the meat's starting to stick to the bottom of here. This is perfect. Now I'm going to add water. I'm going to add the tomato first and the spices, and then water and potatoes. Tomatoes and the curry has been added. Stirred it up, and I decided I'm going to leave it like this until this cooks down a little bit. See, the tomato I want to become a little cooked in with the meat, and the spices cooked in a little bit. I'm going to continue on medium, pretty high flame. Stir it maybe every 5 minutes. After about 5 to 7 minutes or so, I stirred it, and then it was bubbling a lot more than this. So I just turned it down because I just want it to cook a little bit lower. So I'm on low medium now, and keep going like this and just watch these bubbles. And I think I want it to slow down a little bit. I might go to low first, and then get it to slow down a lot, and then turn it up a little just to get medium bubbles. This has been going for another 10 or 20 minutes, and I got it to calm down, and I just turned it back up from low, back up to, I don't know, low medium, because it's smelling really good. Again, it doesn't smell like fresh tomato sauce anymore. It's a little more spicy with the herbs and the curry getting in there, and it smells a little bit more brown, looks a little bit more brown, and I'm gonna let it simmer here for a little bit more, tending it more often. This is what I settled on for the next 15 minutes, stirring every 5 or so. I'm about ready to just put everything in. Now it's good. This is what I want you to see, what it looks like. It smells cooked and very aromatic, and how I would like to eat it. Now it's about an hour and a half in, and we're going to do water, potatoes. There's my water level. Potatoes are in there. Just wanted you to see that I just covered everything, because I would like a thick stew, thicker. I don't want it really watery, and this looks good. I may have to add some later, but it's better to add some later than too much in the first. Then I changed my temperature back to medium, and I'm gonna watch it for the next 10 minutes till it comes to a boil, and then stir it and turn it down on low and leave it uncovered. Probably for another hour to 2, depending on how it looks and smells and tastes. Now's a good time to taste it too. After about an hour on low, I came back and stirred it, and it wasn't bubbling a whole lot. I went to the park with Otto, and so I decided to turn it back up. So I'm a little higher on the flame now and bubbling a little bit, and that's kind of like something I do with stews. I think a lot of people do that. You turn it up, turn it down. Sometimes you can turn it off and walk away, let it cool down completely or a lot. You know, it takes hours to do that. And then turn it back up again, or even turn it off at the end of the day and put it in the fridge and wake up and put it on the stove again and let it go really long on low. But anyway, this is looking really good. Potatoes need to get soft, so it might take another hour, I would think. You can see the water is integrated with the sauce here. I tasted it a little while ago. It was still a little watery. It's probably going to be stronger now. And just looking thicker, a little thicker. Smells really good. This is 3 hours in. We just cooled it down in a bowl and tasted it. It tastes great, but it could use another hour for sure. So we have it simmering. It's on this temperature right here. Whoops. Maybe I'll turn it a little lower. Maybe not. I think this is good because just look at the bubbling. It's perfect. The potatoes could soften a little more and the meat and thicken up the sauce. All right, this is about 4 hours later and it looks and smells done. Ah, look at that. Put it in some bowls. Nigerian goat potato curry stew.